Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are 4.5 point favorites right now at home. Seattle Seahawks sitting in this one 48 and a half on your total. Yes, a 48 and a half total in a game quarterbacked by Jared Goff and Geno Smith. That being said, off we go again here. Adam, when we look at this, it's like, hey, what do we have? We have two shockingly good offenses and two not shockingly defenses that stink. And so that's the total for points. That's the formula for points. This is everything that you would look for here. The only problem for me is I wanted to play the Lions in Survivor. I wanted to play the Lions even maybe in this game at 4. Problem is without Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, by the way, has not practiced so far this week. We'll, monitor that and see what his status is on Friday. He's really been the thing that's made this offense go, right? I mean, and so without him out there even at 100%, I mean, if it's an ankle thing that kept him out of practice for 2 straight days, it's probably not very good for him. So that's what's kept me off of this. That's what probably will just have me watching this. That's what makes me not want to take the over in this, despite the fact that I think the Lions can probably score. If he was healthy, they could probably put up 30 on their own. I think Seattle would be able to easily move on this sieve of a defense and put up another 20-something points. I thought this was a dead over game, but I know to hold my whole handicap on one player, but really and truly, he's kind of been the glue for this offense. He's been the chain mover. He's been the splash play guy. So I just can't get there without him being healthy.
So let's go to the other side of the ball then, because you've covered Detroit fairly well there. So let's go to the Seattle Seahawks and Geno Smith, who, again, we talked a whole lot about Geno Smith after week 1 and people writing him off, et cetera, et cetera. All right, well, let's use some small sample size grades to say thus far, Geno Smith has the same amount of big time throws as Kirk Cousins, as Tom Brady. He is ranked between Geno Smith is ranked between Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins in PFF grade through 3 games. And that's not going to mean a whole lot in the long run, but against a bad defense in Detroit, it means something. And so I can understand why the 6s came off the board quickly at the beginning of the week. I would make this game closer to 5.5. I don't have a play. I'm sitting it out, but I think that the takeaway is that, yes, Seattle's defense is absolutely abysmal. But in the end, are we going to get enough out of the Seattle offense most weeks to at least make them competitive when it comes to totals? Yeah, I think we are.
So if we take a look here, Steven, this is, I think for me, again, you and I, we did the Survivor thing earlier in the week, and I said, hey, it's either going to be the Lions or the Packers for me. It didn't get any better from a Lions perspective from an injury standpoint, so it's just going to be the Packers for me this week. I think you could still play the Lions if you had like 5 entries. I would probably put maybe 2 of them in on the Lions, but that's about it. And again, for me, I wanted to bet the Lions. I wanted to back them here. I just can't get there. I wanted to play an over in this one. This seemed like a dead over game. I can't get there either. Am I overreacting to this St. Brown injury?
No, you're reacting appropriately. Coincidentally, before we started recording, I went back to our Survivor video and added a comment that I would no longer put the Lions as a Survivor pick this week because the Seahawks are live here, guys. I mean, that Amon-Ra St. Brown injury is enormous. He is Jared Goff's new Cooper Kupp, and DeAndre Swift was a big part of the passing game as well. And I think they're going to be fine running the ball, but you know who the number 1 quarterback is through 3 weeks in completion percentage over expectation? It's Geno Smith. It's unbelievable. I mean, low expected completion percentage because he's looking downfield, but he's got great receivers to throw to in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So, and against this Detroit secondary, I don't think that this is the week where that's going to regress to the mean, to be honest with you. So, again, transparency, I bet Seattle +6 right when the injury news was coming out about the Lions' weapons. But I think anything over a field goal here is still a good bet. And I think they're live to win the game, Seattle, in this one. And as it turns out, I mean, the irony here, the first time Detroit is favored in a game in more than 670 days, and it's been 26 games since they've been favored. And we're talking about how they're probably in trouble of losing the game outright. And I'm just not interested in backing the Lions as a favorite, especially when they're this banged up. And we can talk again in future weeks when their weapons are healthy and they're back to being underdogs.
Yeah, I think this Lions team is one of those teams that you can only back when they're at or close to 100% strength, because when they're going to be able to put up points, and they'll be able to probably be, just froggy enough to keep these spreads pretty close and stuff. I mean, we need them to win, we need them to win and cover this week if you wanted to back them. But most weeks they're going to be underdogs, and most weeks I think they're going to be that team that, if as long as they're 100%, you probably aren't going to want to bet against them too often. But at less than 100%, and I need them to win by more than a field goal, I just think that's a little bit too much for me. If I had to play this one, it would be on the Seattle side. And again, I guess I would probably just pass completely on the total if it came down to it as well. So very interesting game, though. I do want to see if Detroit can do anything without St. Brown out there, who has, again, been the chain mover for this team without question.